Как мне нравится.
Да, пожалуй, чем-то даже чуть больше, чем Нью-Йорк, пока еще не могу понять, чем.
Ширина улиц, посмотрите. В Нью-Йорке узенькие на Манхэттене, а здесь вот они. И окружены теми же самыми каменными столбами. Здесь более уютно.
Нью-Йорк какой-то Вавилон.
Чиган. А что на раз
Нет, это не так улица.
Destination on the left in 0.3 miles.
Слушай, классно мы по центру едем, смотри, тут нормально.
О, лошадки.
И прям смотри, белые все.
Да?
Это не Детройт.
Да. Нет, да.
Кореец?
Нью-Йорк. Логика это воск. Смотри, какая красота.
Approaching destination on the left.
Вот сейчас, one way. Сейчас мы сюда завернем. Блин.
Я
боюсь,
какая красота.
Я боюсь, что парковку надо будет.
Платить?
Брать надо парковку.
Вот и Tower Place. А такси белые, да?
Вот.
И белые, и желтые.
Да, вот и белый.
Вон селф-парк был. А, ну парк это же не парк, да?
Вау.
Причем видел, мужик-то один, он работает качальщиком качает. Он каждого маленького подходит, начинает раскачивать. Либо работает, либо... Вот. Так вот, где мы завтра купаться-то будем.
Чиганская. И катера смотрели, нет. Супер, конечно.
Купаться будем? Вон какой-то лайнер стоит посередине, видите? Большой наверняка.
Нет, не очень. Те по 14-этажные, знаешь, такие стоят.
А вон там на горизонте яхты, что ли? Куча.
Слушай, а если прям вот за так встать?
Нельзя.
Почему не так?
Да мы пойдем туда подальше, попробуем там. Полазим,
Давай, Тём.
За 2 надо посчитать, или за 3.
Не, ну вообще такая камера, я сейчас вот камеру.
Ну, там ставим, да,
Что-то осталось.
Ты, Тёмка, суровый, да, не будешь следующий.
Папа! Короче,
Американцы, мать вашу.
Американские улыбающиеся парни. Это с 95-го этажа небоскреба. Мы в кафе, в баре, точнее, на 95-м этаже небоскреба. 11 часов вечера.
And they do have a free day on Tuesdays, so if you're looking to go to that museum and you're here next Tuesday, it's Target Free Tuesday. So I recommend hopping on over there. Those of you who are fans of ER. Of course, on the left-hand side, you have American Girl Place, where you can go and get a new outfit for your doll, maybe get her haircut, do some Pilates, and then take her to lunch. You know, real good time. I guess. Who's there? And we are entering into the area that was formerly a heavy gangster portion of Chicago, where the men like Capone roamed free. And for all the Catholics here on board, Chicago is actually the largest archdiocese in the United States, as due heavily to our German, Irish, and Polish immigrants that came here. And actually the building to the left-hand side, once we get around this corner, is going to be the hub of the Catholic faith here in Chicago. You can see the top of it right now, the steeple over there to the right. And the buildings around it. Chicago-style hot dogs, Italian beef, and Chicago-style pizza. So those are the three things to look out for. You can get two of them right there at Portillo's. Actually, you can get the pizza just down the street. So those are one of the more well-known pizza establishments here in Chicago. And we are coming up on stop number 13. So if anyone's thinking about hopping off and grabbing a bite here, anyone? Yeah, this was I don't know if the oldest, but this is the hub. This was like the base store, because it was formerly the Rock and Roll McDonald's, but now has a museum commemorating the Rock and Roll design that was formerly there. And it might actually be one of the old. I will look into that now, thank you. Oh, there's Irish pub on the right-hand side, Fedor. Cool thing about that was it was actually taken brick by brick from Ireland and brought here to Chicago and rebuilt there right on the corner. So everything you see inside there is Irish made, the stools, the bar, and everything. Very nice. I'm sorry. Carey Steakhouse. It's one of the top steakhouses here in Chicago. And just a little farther up from that is the House of Blues and the House of Blues Hotel, which was, of course, started one of the founding members of the House of Blues chain. Was Dan Aykroyd, who was a blues brother with John Belushi, which both of them actually trained at Second City, which is one of the older improv clubs here in Chicago. If you definitely have a free night tonight, I'd go check out Second City. For those of you who are unfamiliar with it, that's where people like Chris Farley, Tim Meadows, John Belushi, James Belushi, all the Murray brothers, Martin Short, George Wendt. I mean, the list just goes on and on. All of them trained at this comedy club here in Chicago, so it is extremely well known and has a long history here. It's up in Old Town, for those of you who are looking to go see it. Just crossed one of the lovely bridges here. We actually have 54 bridges here in Chicago. All of them are working. And that's actually the most that any city does have. On the right-hand side, this portion of the Chicago River was actually the location of the Eastland disaster. For those of you who aren't familiar with it, a company hired a boat to charter them from Chicago to Indiana for a picnic. The boat was actually pretty top-heavy due to its construction, and actually this picnic was occurring after Titanic, so the top of the boat was loaded with tons of life rafts to support everyone who was on board. And on top of that, they actually had about 500 people too many on top of the ship as well. So as soon as the boat launched, it did a barrel roll right there into the Chicago River. There were actually 800 people that were trapped underneath the boat, and 800 people did die in that accident. On the right hand side you have Merchandise Mart, which is the second largest building, and they sold it for $450 million, so they did make a couple of pennies out of the deal. Right is Roof Point. This is actually where the north and south branches of the Chicago River do meet. And actually a fun little thing to do, kind of like a Where's Waldo here. If you look on a lot of the older buildings here in Chicago, you'll notice that in shields and other ornaments on the side of the buildings, you do see Ys, and that point in the Chicago River is what those Ys represent. So try to find some of those down here. If I see one, I'll point Lakeshore area. But days before they started construction, they were told that they could not build it there and they'd have to move to farther downtown. And if you'll notice, it's kind of a bad angle from this side of the building, but if you see it from the front, the building actually does look like a throne, which a lot of the Art Deco buildings do look like. And also on the side note from that, you'll notice that this is the back of the throne, which is actually facing City Hall. So good old Samuel Insull's kind of mad about being not allowed to build it on the lakeshore. So also told that the book far in advance from their season even debuting. So if you do want to see a little bit of opera, I'd get on that. This building directly straight ahead of us and to the left with that light blue glass and that silver steel, that's actually the headquarters for the Hyatt chain of hotels here in Chicago. And if you do look at that building from an aerial view, it looks like a wet footprint on the ground here in Chicago. So if you're ever in a helicopter and you make your way over here, that's what that'll look like for you. Chicago Mercantile Exchange Center. This is where they trade cattle, pork bellies, and foreign currency. I enjoy passing this each day to see the lovely men in mustard-colored jackets. And actually, these are some of the more tasteful jackets that they get to wear. There's a couple guys that get to walk around with the checkered jackets with the purple lapels. With others such as Marshall Field and Montgomery Ward, we're also in that category. This is a great view of the building to see the different towers. There's actually 9 towers all brought together to form the Sears Tower. And they're all at varying heights. I'm told this was done, actually an architecture student explained to me as it's far easier to break 1 pencil than it is to break 9. So that's why they have the 9 towers there. And the varying heights came the inspiration for that, the architect dropped his box of cigarettes on the ground, and when he went to pick them up, the cigarettes were at varying heights, and as you can see, that designed the Sears Tower there. For those of you who are fans of the Batman. On the left-hand side, you'll see the water tower on top of the building. It says Catch Torrington Real Estate. That's another one of those fun things to look throughout the Chicago area. There's a good She's the Roman goddess of agriculture, and that's primarily what's traded there at the Chicago Board of Trade. And it is a faceless statue, so...
Для трейдеров все
Here is the Marquette building. If you look above the door, you'll notice the bronze pictures there. Those actually depict different parts of Marquette's life as he traveled through the northern portion of the Mississippi River. And of course we're coming up on the Chase Tower. That's a big guy to the left-hand side of us here. Know any Chicagoan who would wish that the Picasso be removed. It's extremely become a part of who we are here in Chicago. And of course it stands right before the Daily Plaza there. And that's actually where part of the Blues Brothers film was filmed. They actually drove right up to the Picasso. A bit of construction. It's located in Millennium Park. The pavilion does hold 4,000 people inside the pavilion, and it also holds an additional 7,000 on the lawn. As I mentioned, we are coming up to Millennium Park, so this is stop number 2. Anyone think about hopping up and enjoying many Hyatts here in Chicago? You also notice that large bar, and it's the longest freestanding bar. You actually have to climb up on the ladder to grab your beverage of choice. The Batman film is being filmed in the building to the left of us. The sequel to it, that is, The Dark Knight.
Fall, you saw it on their TV commercials over the winter time. The House of Blues is right in the back of New City.
Мы катаемся на корабле в Чикаго. Как река называется?
Чикаго?
Чикаго Ривер. Над нами машина, да, проехала?
Chicago has the greatest number rolled over in the river, trapping and killing over 800 people. 22 whole families were lost in this tragedy that could have been prevented. They were all part of a company called Western Electric out in the western suburbs, and they were on their way to a company picnic in Michigan City, Indiana.
Все, хватит.
Now up ahead of us is one of 4 spring and in the fall on Wednesdays and Saturdays. He's running under here underneath it. And this train out here to the right is either going to go in underneath it or is leaving. I hope it goes underneath because I'd love to see this.
На озеро, я думаю, будет
Why in the world
хорошо.
would we do that? Well, the railroads came to Chicago in 1848. We became the rail capital of the country. We still are. Railroad's still another challenge because there's a switching track that runs underneath the southwest corner of the building. So we could not put a post underneath the southwest corner of the building. We put a truss system on the south roof to suspend the whole west side of the building over the switching track running underneath the southwest corner. When we come back up north, I'll show you that truss system. Now up ahead on our left is a huge Art Deco building that looks like a big chair or throne. This is our Civic Opera House, built in 1929 by Samuel Insull. He was the founder of Commonwealth Edison here in Chicago, and he was a very wealthy man. His wife Bertha was an opera singer. She did okay here in Chicago, but when she tried to get a job in New York, nobody would hire her in the 1960s. And when they were built, it encouraged a great deal of new construction directly west of the loop, eliminating a really lousy part of town known as Skid Row. You look underneath these buildings, you see further evidence of these trains that are running underneath all of these structures, and all of that clanging bells and the sound of diesel engines, and sometimes we see that blue diesel exhaust does not go up into the buildings overhead. Okay, now, get ready. 1, 2, 3. Go straight up and to your left. You're looking at the top of Sears Tower. Keep looking in that direction. Tower's going to come and go, but we're going to go to the south end of this white building up ahead on our left. Captain Joe's going to turn around the boat right in the middle of the river, and you're going to have a straight-up view of Sears Tower. Sears Tower is an all-steel building. From the lobby up there are 9 square rectangular boxes that are all bundled together, and they remain bundled as they go up. About the 49th floor, some of these boxes are discontinued, creating some of the setbacks that you'll see. But 2 of the boxes or tubes are allowed to go all the way up to the roof, to the 110th story level. Now this forms a very sturdy building, and yet it's so flexible up at the roof at 110 stories that it can sway as much as Samuel Goodman dressed up in a Spider-Man costume. He was arrested for trespassing. will revisit Sears Tower in about a half an hour from Lake Michigan. I think you've already seen that how much Chicago loves to have lunch or dinner along the Chicago River during the warm days of the year. Then if you go back to the year 1900, at the turn of the century, this was the busiest river in the world, and the pollution in the river was absolutely beyond belief. There were stories of during the summers of those years that fires would start on top of the water, formed by a chemical reaction, force manure runoff from the streets, mixing with toxic waste material from the you look directly ahead of the boat now, and we're coming back to the Boeing building, the building with the big clock at the top. Just let your eyes drop down to the wall. In 1860, there was a temporary structure to our right here called Wigwam, which housed the Republican National Convention of that year. It's the rest of the river. And it was up on the North Branch where the Great Chicago Flood occurred on April the 13th, 1992. Some workmen were working at the Quincy Street Bridge at a cluster piling. And one of the posts in the cluster piling broke through a tunnel that runs underneath the river at that point. This tunnel is 62 miles long, where we now have masons. They have 39 feet of water in the various basements, with fish swimming around the TVs, the sofas, and the lingerie. They had to shut down the loop for 3 days. Driveway and walkway along the river as we find it some city. As we go under our bridges, check out all the big houses that they're all the largest street in the world. The street was originally developed by Potter Palmer, who built the Palmer House Hotel 3 different times. The first time he built it, it burned down 13 days after he opened it in the Great Chicago Fire. Now the building to our right is known as the Jewelers Building, built between 1924 and 1926. This is really a fun building. Just let your eyes move over the terracotta up to that tower, and then the Belvedere on top of that tower. By the way, that Belvedere used to be a speakeasy for Al Capone. Back in the 1920s, if you were a jeweler, the idea was to put your car on an elevator that took you up the center of this building, bringing you up to your jewelry shop. And this way you didn't have to walk down the street carrying your jewels. Became a landmark in 1996. Christian waters today. Between 1850 and 1900, there were thousands of Chicagoans who died of diseases related to polluted water. In order to solve that problem, they reversed the direction of flow of the Chicago River, so the river would never again flow into Lake Michigan. But how in the world do you go about making a river flow backwards? Well, the way they did that in Chicago was to build this on the state council. What's left now is the developer has to sell enough of the 1,200 condos in this tower in order to pay for the building. I'm sure the developer would like you to stop by after the tour and sign up for a condo. With this harbor, we now have 10 harbors in Chicago, which means we have the most extensive harbor system of any city in the country during the boating season, and these harbors provide a home for over 6,000, anywhere from 18 to 12 inches higher than the Chicago River. And it varies from year to year depending on how much rain or snow we get in the area. In order for us to go out onto the lake, we have to go through the Chicago River. So that is where our captain is taking us right now. We've got a yellow light, which means we have permission to go into the lock because we're a passenger vessel. It is very, very, very important that you keep your hands, arms, head, whole body on the inside of the railing of the boat, especially if you're on the lower deck. We're going to tie up next to a very hard concrete wall. We don't want any kind of silly accidents to happen this afternoon. Here we go.
Вон они стоят, яхты еще. Красивые. Вон они стоят, красивые яхты. Может на вот этом проехаться, а? На колесике. На чертово. Это в парке.
As we go into the lock, you have to keep in mind that the water in the lake is lower than the water out there in Lake Michigan. So you can look to your right or left and you can notice the high water mark along the lock wall. And of course, during the locking process, the water is going to come up to the top of that high water mark. Captain Joe's going to bring us to the other end of the lock. I think we're going to tie up on the left or the port side. And one of our deckhands below is going to take one of the lines on the boat. It's either going to hook it or throw it out and catch one of these yellow or red cleats that you see at the top of the lock wall. Once he gets a connection there, then he's going to put the other end of the line on one of our cleats on our boat. And Captain Joe's going to back us up gently, putting tension on the line. This way we don't move around inside the lock during the locking process. Those of you on the upper deck, if you turn around and watch these pleasure craft coming in, you'll notice that they will also secure themselves along the lock wall, but they will...
Attention floaters, light check is now required throughout the lock.
Взрослая рыба.
Secure your vessel to the wall, remain secured to a horn sound. Once again, light check is now required throughout the lockage. Secure your vessel to the wall, remain secured to a horn sound. Thank you.
Не закрывается этот дом. А? Дядька, короче, в трусах, в желтом комбинезоне. Схватился за веревку, приготовился поднимать. Обалдеть. Вон там закрывается шлюз. Сейчас будет таз вода подниматься, наверное. С той стороны будет открываться. Открылись? Вот пошел, смотри, видишь вода. Видишь вода поднимается.
They're starting to allow over 750,000 gallons of water to enter this lock, which is some 600 feet long, 80 feet wide, and 22 feet deep. The Chicago lock is the second busiest lock in the country, with over 40,000 vessels passing through the lock every year. Of course, they range in size from individual jet skis and rowboats to 500-foot long barges pushed by large tugboats. So it's quite a collection of boats. In a little while, the east sector gate will open up 100%, and listen for a horn, and that'll be our signal that we have permission to leave the lock to go out onto Lake Michigan. The Chicago lock is a very simple lock. When we want to go out onto the lake, we open up the lakeside. The lake fills us up, rising us up to the level of the lake. About a half an hour from now, we'll come back into the lock. We'll open up the riverside. The water will fall out of the lock, lowering us back down into the river. There are no pumps in the Chicago lock, only gravity.
Видишь, полметра съели.
Вы не успели. Вы только что были на полметра ниже.
Рыбу покажи им. А вон рыбешка. Мужик устал, там рыбешка за ним. Рыбакит. Все. Мы сравняли с уровнем океана. Ой, это озеро.
Слушай, ну озеро чистое, мне кажется, да? Вода, посмотри, прозрачная.
Не, вообще грязно.
Здесь, вот в этом Барбаре, а там...
И там так. Это озеро Мичиган.
Видимо, смотри, хорошее.
Великие американские озера.
1930, all of the shipping business shipped to the Calumet Harbor, Chicago's international port, which is about 15 miles to the south of our present location, but still within the boundaries of the city of Chicago. During World War II, Navy Pier was a place where they certified carrier pilots. And President Bush Sr. was an example of that. He spent one day in the classroom out here and then had to demonstrate 8 successful takeoffs and landings from the area of the pier. After World War II, the pier became the Chicago campus.
Смотри, он у него летает.
Мы в озере Мичиган, да? Правильно я понимаю? Как нет? Озеро Мичиган.
Да, ну, только видишь, вот это.
Озеро Мичиган, а
Там это Индиана. Он тоже штат Индиана.
Now off to your left, you're starting to go around the east end of the major pier. The large red brick building that you're looking at is known as the Grand Ballroom. It accommodates 5,500 people for special events like New Year's. You look at Big John as a work of art. Seems to express the strength and independence of the city of Chicago.
американский мост не способен решить эту задачу.
Внутри широкая лодка.
At the top, they have the highway that you see off to your left, Lakeshore Drive. We left the boat on the sandbar and started to get construction debris to fill in the water between the sandbar and Michigan Avenue, building up a 200-acre landfill out of which Streeterville now rises. He opened up a very successful tavern in his beach, though. Nobody lives out there, but that is known as the Chicago water fill. And that is where water enters the water system in Chicago. So the water that you drank this morning probably entered one of the buildings sometime in the last few hours. It enters the water in those buildings.
То есть он очень близко к Чикаго подобрался.
Over 100 feet below us, comes back to the city through tunnels in that bedrock that are 17 feet in diameter. So it's a huge quantity of water.
Сфотографировал вид Чикаго. Сфотографировал вид Чикаго.
100 раз уже.
Starting water filtration plant is the largest water filtration plant in the world. It's state of the art. It supplies water to over 5 million people in the metropolitan area. And the water comes out of this plant is considered to be 99% pure. Some of the best fresh water in the whole world.
Хороший городок.
We'll take a little break in the narration. We always like to give you opportunities to stay with the city and enjoy Lake Michigan without losing your ear. So I'll be identifying red lights flashing at us every 8 or 9 seconds.
Яхта выходит, смотри.
Over 18,000 buildings burnt down. Over 100,000 people between homeless and Metro. The people of Chicago behave a very ambitious attitude in the city. It was to help us bring our business plan. After the fire, Chicago was looking for a way of getting its name back on the map. So one of the things they did was to host the Columbian World Exhibition in 1893. We celebrated the 400th anniversary of Christopher Columbus's discovery of America. That's 311 South Flatbush, and 131 Apollo up there. They were doing some 1,800 players at last in overnight, making it the brightest spot in the night sky of the city. Drop your eyes down to the lakeside and move on to the left, and you'll see Buckingham Fountain. Right now it's shooting off its central jet with stunning eyes and scary buildings. This building is close to just a little while.
Смотри, парусник паруса расправил.
Какой?
Но он выходил, когда мы мимо приезжали, он выходил без парусов, сейчас паруса.
опять же вид Чикаго. С другой стороны. Красота.
That's Soldier Field, home of the Chicago Bears. They had a renovation after it was lost its landmark status because of the renovation. Also to the right, also off to the left here, you see this white colored building right along the lake shore. This is the Shed Aquarium and Ocean area. That's that building. The other large building in columns, and that's the Field Museum. The Field Museum, the Shed Aquarium, and the Adler Planetarium all make up what is now known as the museum campus. Off to your left, we're starting to have a closer view here now of
парусник самодуральный.
Now off to your right, you have the windy corner. About 1850 to 1900, over 20,000 of these ships would arrive to the Chicago harbor every year. That's one of the reasons why around 1900 the Chicago was becoming the busiest business in the world. You could take a ride up the windy water and you could
Видел? Утка. Утна. Дайте сникерс. Американские утки едят сникерсы наверняка. Я уверен в этом.
Если это в течение муниципа...
Это же Дональд Дак, Механ. Прообраз Дональда Дака, да? Значит, он наверняка ест сникерсы и это, как она? А, или Скрудж, да? Скрудж Макдак, вот. Это пропел Артем.
Здесь же полно американцев,
Да ничего, нормально, про тебя правильно подумал, что. У тебя же написано вот там, что ты великолепен. И обожаем всеми. Поэтому нормально. В рамках своей новой роли сказал. Единственное, меня смущает, что ты к куртке обращался. Это как-то уже совсем.
Полно китайцев, поэтому ладно.
А китайцы, думаешь, не понимают, да? Вот это, что
китайцы ладно.
А, ну спускай.
Куда?
Подождали, ничего не даешь им, все, они поплыли.
Умные. Они себя начинают жрать.
Самоубийство американских уток, они сами себя едят.
И сами себя жрут.
На глазах российских и китайских туристов американские утки в знак протеста съедают сами себя.
Как же? против оккупации евреев.
А вот Опа.
Вот американские парни сейчас подавят.
Американские парни. Ну давай. Газуй. Он боится. Ну давай. Подгазовывай, дядя.
Смотри, что он будет выпендривать.
Ага.
Now, if you look out here to your right, you'll see a very tall tower with gently curving sides to it. A little round room at the top, which is a restaurant. That is Lake Point Tower. It was built in 1968, 70 stories tall, 645 feet. When it was built back in 1968, it was all apartments. So then it was known as the tallest apartment building in the world. It has now lost that title as all of those apartments have turned over to condominiums, with a few of the condominiums taking up a whole floor of the tower. Several celebrities have lived in the tower.
Американские выпендрежники.
Maybe that's a
В Африке одна только, смотри.
А что это?
А? Поделись автомобилем. Очень много автомобилей. Используются нерационально. Один водитель едет, больше никого. Америка, да, вон там. Кучка. Да. Это спорт или они просто торопятся, куда-то идут? Это что, металлолом что-то? Нет? Не только?
Не, вот это самый прикольный телефончик. Каждая кнопочка, понимаешь?
Что, отколупал бы? А?
Колупал.
Написано, пожалуйста, не трогайте. Специально для таких, как ты, орлов. Птица. Дичь ходит по лугам. Сама причем.
Вот смотри, вот это крикаш, а вот это шилотка. Справа шилотка. Слева крикаш.
Прикаж?
Да, вот тут крикаш. Последний.
Ты стрелял? Да. А здесь можно брать руками, засовывать в сумку и идти.
Жалко покормить нечего, покормить.
Они ждут, смотри, видишь, подходят.
Жалко нечего покормить.
Таблетки.
Петр, вы загораживаете. Великий, обожаемый. Фонтан побрился. Господа в шоке. Туристы не могут пройти к фонтану. Михаил Вячеславович в панике просто. те двое туристов пошли кормить гусей. Вот это Бирмингемский фонтан называется. Чикаго. Достопримечательность.
Офигеть. Кто заметил?
Я?
Ты охотник?
Он говорит, не. Малолетка. Маленькая такая.
Кайф.
Слушай, нифига не засходились.
Дохлый, что ли?
Да просто лежит, отсыхает.
Красава. Какая красота.
Ну что, Тёмка, остаешься? Чикаго. А?
что-то денет такое, деньгами снабжает, кто-то себя
И то очень по чуть-чуть, как бы, очень так, ну как-то так, незаметно. То есть они уже как-то этим всем делом так вот переболели.
Приелись.
Да.
Прикольный городишко, смотри.
Вот, там, поэтому...
Одноэтажная Америка.
Одноэтажная.
Да, одноэтажная Америка, честно говоря.
Поэтому наши не согласились, а те обиделись. Примерно так.
Я вел 2,89.
Approaching U-turn.
Туда?
Футбол, бейсбол.
Так, мы выезжаем из Линкольна, да? Я правильно понимаю?
Да.
Так, надо снять, как мы тут жили.
Классная машинка, видишь?
Лучшее место, где мы ночевали.
3 miles.
Самое лучшее место. Много пива, пуля.
А вот, 80 там сюда.
Кто-нибудь про Путина что-нибудь слышал сегодня?
Нет, а что?
Ничего, не знаю, может война уже. А мы еще едем.
Нас сейчас загребут в американскую армию, да?
Утром приходит полиция, забирает.
Все, война началась.
Ага, вон мобилизация идет.
Россия с Америкой. Ну, самолет тоже летит.
Самолет за нами летит.
Командировки.
А он следит за нами.
Ну, на самом деле. Россия с Ираком.
Ирак, Иран, Россия против Америки.
Куда летят?
Вот он, Гранд Каньон, смотри. Практически.
Это, скорее всего, мол, типа, знаешь, какой-то. В Европе есть такие. Георгий католическая школа.
Смотри, дома через определенное расстояние. Причем большие площадята.
Вот Pilot.
Озеро-то частое типа, да?
Есть снимаки?
Ну, дом, озеро его, да?
Небраска, Лэн, Трак-центр.
Одесса, ага, 8 километров до Одессы.
Ты кто? Ты не спишь, что ли?
Нет, я не сплю, что ли?
Давай, расскажи, что. Как тебе Америка? Жить остаешься? Как по-английски задать вопрос, жить остаешься? Он не понимает по-русски.
Are you going to stay here?
No, I don't.
Не берут, что ли? Болеете?
Карантин.
это и надо снимать. Вот что снимать надо. Вот тут живет американцы.
Разные представления о
Фермер.
художественной ценности.
О чем?
О художественной ценности.
Тот бургер стоял. Это надо было обязательно заснять. Вот то, что ты кинулся снимать через дорогу. Макдональдс надо снимать.
Toyota RAV4 старая штука. Первый это действительно. Хочет, снимает. Снимает. Сажаешь кассету. Сажаешь кассету.
Это вот настоящая Америка. С чего она начиналась? Кукуруза, засеянные поля. Коровки, которые вот стоят в кустах, видишь? Им там тень. Видишь, как много между фермами место просто идет раз, потом менее, а следующее, потом раз, прям четко. Не 4 сотни, а вон сколько. И вон там.
Слушай, это же собственная земля, да?
Да.
Земля собственная вот у этих ребят.
Я думаю, что озеро, то тоже его собственное. Русские едут по Америке. Песенка соответствующая. Скорость 85 миль. Запятнуло, да, Пугачева. Один палец покажи Америке. Американский знак обозначает победу. А болтус. Смерч фильм смотрели?
Одесса Эксит. 1 миля. Да, смотри. Ты снял Одессу?
Walmart.
На первом выезде развернулся. Подальше, Петь, подальше. В баллоне везут.
Наши поехали.
Наши поехали. Вот сейчас машина.